Hi, my name is David Chagnon. I have two little kids. Uh, Over these last couple of years, obviously with COVID, these kids have lost so much at school. And is this really what we want their time to be spent doing? There's so many things. I'm a 33-year-old small business owner. I don't even know how to do my taxes. There's so many things these kids can learn other than how to have anal sex. Come on, my kid's in third grade. He's gonna be learning this when he's in 2 years. He's a baby. Come on, this is like just common sense here. Obviously, this is the best turnout you guys have ever seen for a school board meeting. It was mentioned earlier, everybody's coming up here saying the same thing. I think you could figure out what the community wants.
That's right.
I'm Christina Rafisi. I have a first grader here in this district. Thank you for taking the time to meet with the community regarding the health curriculum. I can speak for myself and say I appreciate the transparency and the openness from you all to meet so we as parents can express our concerns and offer our feedback in a respectful manner. At a previous meeting, it was commented that the curriculum meeting should be televised due to some parents' poor behavior. It was alluded to that this microphone and that camera would deter us from speaking out. We should not be shaming each other as parents. As much as we may not understand each other's points of view, it doesn't mean we shouldn't be able to express ourselves in an open forum. Last school year on April 27th, a letter was sent out by Dr. Toohey stating any specific lessons you may be hearing about or seeing on social media or in the news are not lessons we here in Old Bridge have created, nor does the state require us to teach these lessons. Imagine our surprise as parents when the following topics showed up in the proposed curriculum. First and second grade, discuss the range of ways people express their gender and how gender role stereotypes may limit behavior. Teachers will use Red, a crayon story, to teach their lesson plan. I encourage parents to review it. Third grade, explain common human sexual development and the roles of hormones, for example, romantic and sexual feelings and masturbation. Explain the relationship between sexual intercourse and human reproduction. Pronoun discussion. Quoted from the Range of Gender Identities YouTube video being used in the lesson plan, the sex listed on your birth certificate may not necessarily match your gender identity. Gender identity is their deep personal sense of being male, female, a blend of both, or neither. Gender queer is someone who does not identify themselves as having a specific gender at all. By the end of grade 3, students will be able to recognize the various gender identities and address them with proper pronouns. Other points I'd like to bring up, even though it was told to me this isn't in the current curriculum, I feel I need to address. In the lesson labeled Substance Abuse is Caused by a Variety of Factors, a Brain Pop Junior video labeled Illegal Drugs, in the video it is stated, you might have heard about the dangers of illegal drugs like cocaine, crack, heroin, or meth. Inhalants are substances that can be sniffed. Some people take steroids illegally so they can grow bigger muscles. You're bringing attention to subjects that 6- and 7-year-old kids do not need to be concerned with at this age. Lastly, it was said in the last Board of Education meeting that we wonder why it is difficult to find teachers that want to work after more information was requested before approving a social justice education grant. Asking questions about what our children are being taught is not the reason you cannot find teachers to employ. Asking teachers to teach children inappropriate sexual material and to push political agendas is why you cannot find teachers to employ.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Caprice. I'm a mom of 3. I have a first grader in the district. I guess my only concern is, at the end of the day, you guys gave us the opportunity to come here and speak our opinions, but you guys are going to do, the agenda is going to be fulfilled either way. So I plan on opting out my child every year that I possibly can. My question is, will there be a curriculum given to the parents for every subject? So you guys say there'll be, the students that are opted out will be put apart, but will we be given as parents what exactly, what classes they will be in and what would be also taught in the other subjects like science. So if this is just physical education and health education, how would that be implemented also in the subject of science? Thank you.
My name is Koji Hamanaka. I have 2 daughters in elementary school. First, I'd like to say I appreciate the efforts that are taken to push these requirements to the later grades, but I still have a few questions. Why does it seem like voting to reject the curriculum is a non-starter? Opt-in, opt-out have been talked about, but it's been relatively quiet on rejecting it. The maximum QSAC penalty for the comprehensive health and physical education curriculum is 4 points according to the NJ QSAC manual. That leaves a 16-point margin before hitting the minimum requirement to avoid probation. I understand that there are other areas currently lacking. However, that should be all the more motivation to bring the other areas up to par so that a flat-out rejection of the curriculum and the small penalty associated with it does not lower the district score to a probationary level. Additionally, I would like to address the big worry about QSAC, the dangling carrot of state funding. I am not oblivious. I know it takes money to run a school, and there may be some budget cuts, but I believe our children's total well-being is more important and well worth it. Some school districts have taken this courageous course of action under the same threat. If we follow, I think we would be in good company. So I ask that you please consider this choice, because it is a choice. Number 2, opting in is a much better and heavily supported option. If there are parents out there who truly want their children to be taught this ideology, 1, they are already more than welcome to teach their children about it at home, just as many of us are told to keep God out of school and Jesus at home. And 2, in this case, they would have the option to opt into such a curriculum so their children are getting the education they want for them. The NJ statute C18 8035 4.7 only explicitly states that an opt-out option must be afforded. It does not explicitly preclude an opt-in option. It is particularly silent on that matter. It sounds that if the sexual education portion of the curriculum is implemented as an opt-in program, the district would technically be in compliance and wouldn't suffer a QSAC penalty. So what is your reasoning to believe that an opt-in option is unsupported by law? Number 3, since the curriculum intends to teach that being transgender is a healthy and normal lifestyle, will the curriculum cover the adverse effects of pursuing a transgender identity? Will the materials touch on increased depression, anxiety, and suicide rates? Negative health effects such as bone density loss and increased risk of cancer and underdeveloped genitalia? If anything, I would say those would definitely fall under the umbrella of health. So when teaching this curriculum, how accurate will these lessons be?
Hi, my name is Christine Romer. I have a 4th grader in the district. I have a question as opposed to a statement. When going through the curriculum earlier, K through 4 seemed to be really benign and simple to me. I didn't have any issues with anything. The curriculum that was posted in the email was different, and I don't know if this is a part of what changed and was maybe pushed to a later grade, but it states things for 4th grade, knowing the physiological process of how pregnancy occurs. Those are some things I highlighted. Have students watch the fertilization and implantation video from babycenter.com, and pregnancy can be achieved through a variety of methods. So I just wasn't sure about the disconnect between what was posted versus what was shown, and maybe it's the change in pushing some of the curriculum agendas, but I didn't know why it was different and none of this was mentioned. So that's my question. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Raul Francisco. I'm a proud resident of Old Bridge, and I speak for myself. So the reality is for me that I simply disagree with what the state defines as age appropriate. There's more to it than that. I can get into my personal religious beliefs and go down that rabbit hole, but the truth is that we're all going to differ on our opinions. My opinion as it relates to the curriculum as it stands today, the proposed curriculum, and parts of the existing curriculum, is that I disagree with what the state considers to be age appropriate. With that said, unfortunately, this is not the forum for legislation. The board didn't write this curriculum. The teachers didn't write this curriculum. Curriculum was passed by our elected state officials. So something to be said about that. However, this is the opportunity for us as a community, and that's what I've seen since the beginning of this meeting, to implore our school board to listen to us, listen to our concerns, and take action. Because listening, unfortunately, is not going to be enough.
Right.
And there is action that can be taken. And I've heard a lot of the speakers tonight reference those actions and reference the concerns that are going to be brought before us if that action is taken. You've heard terms like QSAC and loss of potential support and resources, but you've also heard a lot of facts tonight. That as a community, if this is what we want, if this is what we are advocating for, the loss of the QSAC is doable, it's manageable, and it shouldn't be a reason that we should stand down for what we believe in. So, as I address the board and wrap up my comments, there's 3 actionable items that I would ask for you all to consider. Vote down the curriculum as it currently is. Revise the curriculum with the help of the board and the community, and that can be defined further, to remove any sexually or gender identity related topics completely out of K-5.
Yes.
And lastly, move to an opt-in feature. For me, it's that simple. Those are my 3 requests. Vote down the curriculum. Revise the curriculum to remove any sexually or gender identity related topics completely out of K-5. I didn't mention this earlier, but I do have 2 daughters, one at Sandburg and one at Sherrod. But for me, this is even greater than them. This is about all the children of this town.
Right.
And I'll wrap up by saying this, to the board, you guys did not have to do this. You did not have to issue the special session to hear us. You could have went, you could have voted. That is your right as elected officials. You chose to come and hear us out, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your consideration.